From The Reporter, the paper of record for Delaware County's towns and villages, this is Off the Record, a quick look at the latest county news. This week we've got shakedown accusations in court, wasteful county spending, a marijuana dispensary coming to Delhi, a tiny church staging a big comeback, and more. Let's get to it. We'll start with your tax dollars at work. This is how Delaware County is flushing $11,000 down the toilet. That's how much the county is spending to have a company send someone here 7 or 8 times a year to take some pictures, shoot a little video, and write up some posts the county can use for its social media. $11,000. This company, it's called Sherpa. It's not going to be doing any posting. It's not going to be helping get the message out. It's not even building the county a website. All it does is send someone to take pictures and video and then write up some social media posts. The county got suckered. Yeah, if someone with 1 million followers posted this stuff, yeah, that could help. But the county doesn't have 1 million followers. Nobody cares about a county government outside the county. Do you care what's happening in Crawford County, Ohio? No. But Delaware County is going to get $11,000 worth of pictures and videos that no one is going to care about. And if you're thinking that for $11,000 you could take pictures, you could shoot some video, you could use ChatGPT to write up some social media posts, too bad, you missed your chance. Did a county prosecutor try to shake down a defendant? Well, that's what defense attorney George Grasso is saying, and he said it in open court. Grasso represents a 63-year-old Michael Kodrevich. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kodrevich of Delhi. And he's facing a forcible touching charge. During a hearing in Delhi Town Court, Attorney Grasso accused Assistant DA Schuyler Kinnaman of implying that the criminal charges could be dropped if the alleged victim received a financial settlement. And Grasso called that a shakedown. He asked that Kinnaman be removed from the case, and he actually wanted the charges to be dismissed entirely. Kinnaman came out swinging in response. He called the accusation an unethical smear, and he accused Grasso of trying to game the system. He told the judge there was no quid pro quo, no money for dismissal deal, and according to Kinnaman, if a separate case found the charge baseless, or if the alleged victim refused to testify, then maybe a dismissal could be considered. But that's it, he said, no shady deal involved. Well, the whole back and forth got heated, and Judge Matthew Burkert asked Grasso, point blank, was he alleging prosecutorial misconduct? And Grasso said, yes. Kinnaman said he was insulted, and he urged the judge to keep him on the case and totally reject this misconduct claim. Well, for now, the judge is letting the case continue. He denied Grasso's request to remove the prosecutor or to toss out the charge, but he told Grasso to file the motions in writing by early April. And then Kinnaman will have a chance to respond, and the case is due back in court in May. There's a new cannabis dispensary in the works for Main Street in Delhi. The Delaware County Planning Board, they just gave a thumbs up to the site plan after the Village Board approved it the night before. The shop would go in a barn behind Good Cheap Food. And yeah, that's the same one that used to be a beer garden back during the pandemic. Lauren Rabba, who runs Catskill Botanicals, she's behind the project. It'll sell cannabis and her own line of skincare products. Security is obviously tight. There's vaults, there's cameras, there's alarms, the works. And there's no on-site consumption allowed. They're aiming for hours between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. most days, and there'll be also a kiosk for faster pickup. The next step, a public hearing on May 6th over in Delhi Village Hall. The Walton Department of Public Works is getting some serious new toys. Superintendent Butch Smith just got approval to replace an 11-year-old truck with a new one, and the new one's going to cost $68,000, plus another $8,000 for a rotary brush cutter attachment that'll help clear the overgrown spots on places like Water Street. Smith is also looking to replace the village's decade-old mini excavator, and that would cost a bit more than $79,000. But Smith figures the old excavator could fetch $20,000 to $30,000 at auction. And the best part of all this, it's all funded through New York's CHIPS program. That's the Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program. Well, it just means that there's no extra cost to local taxpayers. About 200 people gathered in Delhi on April 5th as part of the nationwide Hands Off rally. The big one was in D.C., of course, with something like 30,000 people, but the Delhi folks made their voices heard. They were protesting the Trump administration, demanding it keep its hands off Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, civil rights, democracy, and, judging by the stock market in the last few days, the economy as well. Hey, did you hear about St. James Episcopal Church in Lake Delaware? A couple of years ago, it was about to close its doors. There were like 3 or 4 people showing up on Sundays. But now things have completely turned around, and it's all thanks to their new pastor, Paul Moore. The thing is, Paul wasn't even an Episcopalian when he got hired. He joked that he dressed the part, so they gave him the job anyway. The point is, people love him. He's funny, he's warm, he's down to earth. He gives his sermons without notes, and he mixes in references from movies and books that, everyone can hopefully relate to. Well, it did the trick. The church started filling up again. Families are even driving almost an hour just to come to Moore's Sunday services. His daughter, Carly, even started the church's first ever Sunday school, and it's also been a hit. And get this, last weekend they had a chili cook-off with karaoke and cowboy songs. There was beef chili, venison chili, even elk chili, and everyone had a blast. And Paul says that's exactly what Sundays should be about: community, laughter, and really good food. So it looks like the St. James Church is officially back on the map. Amen. And yeehaw. Time to make the donuts. Maybe. In Delhi. There might be a new Dunkin coming to 3.5 Main Street in the old Pizza Hut building. Architect Tyler Twombly laid out plans to give the building a makeover and even add a drive-through. The village planning board members heard drive-through and immediately worried about traffic, but Twombly said the layout will hold 8 cars, so the street shouldn't be blocked. And deliveries will be limited to off-peak hours. The designers also made some other changes based on feedback from the New York Department of Transportation, including adding a new crosswalk and sidewalk to make the Dunkin' more pedestrian-friendly. The county planning board already gave its thumbs up, so now it's in the village's hands, and if all goes smoothly, coffee and donuts could be rolling out by the end of the year. Maybe just in time for that marijuana dispensary. Convenient. And finally, back in Walton, the village is working to boost the flood insurance discount that residents get. Right now, Waltonians, they get a 10% savings, but the village is hoping to bump that up to 15%, but they need to improve the village's score in FEMA's community rating system. That's what helps determine flood insurance rates. So to do that, the village trustees are adopting a new public outreach plan that was developed by the Walton Flood Commission. If FEMA agrees that this plan will reduce flood risk, it could be some real savings for homeowners. Of course, the bigger issue is whether there will even be a FEMA much longer. The Trump administration says it's planning to get rid of the agency, which means the only way to get flood insurance will be on the private market if that's available. And that's it for this week's Off the Record. For the full stories and plenty more, grab this week's copy of The Reporter. It's in print, it's online at the-reporter.net. I'm Andrew Kantor. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week.